Hi, my name is Grandpa Joe, and today's story is about Lila goes on a fantastic voyage to the moon with friendly aliens. She explores the moon, discovers new creatures and landscapes, and learns about imagination, exploration, and making new friends. The story encourages readers to dream big and never give up on their aspirations. So let's begin. Lila was a curious little girl who had a deep passion for exploring the world around her. She loved spending hours gazing up at the sky, imagining what it would be like to travel among the stars. One night, as she lay in her bed, her eyes fixated on the twinkling stars above, a shooting star passed by. In her usual fashion, she closed her eyes and made a wish, but this time, something different happened. As she opened her eyes, she saw a spaceship hovering outside her window. Lila couldn't believe what she was seeing. She gasped in amazement as the spaceship landed in her backyard. Excited and filled with wonder, she put on her robe and slippers and tiptoed outside. As she got closer, she saw that there were aliens inside the spaceship. The aliens welcomed her with open arms and invited her to join them on a journey to the moon. Lila's heart raced with excitement as she climbed aboard the spaceship. The aliens gave her a tour of the ship, and she was amazed by all the cool gadgets and gizmos. They blasted off into space, and Lila felt her body press against the seat as they flew higher and higher. She watched in awe as the Earth got smaller and smaller until it was just a tiny blue dot in the distance. As they flew through the galaxy, Lila was mesmerized by the stars and planets she saw along the way. Finally, they landed on the moon's surface. Lila was amazed by the sight of the craters and mountains, all in shades of gray. But then something caught her eye. In the distance, she saw a field of flowers, all colors of the rainbow. The aliens saw how excited Lila was, and they took her to the field of flowers. They taught her how to jump high on the moon's surface, and Lila couldn't believe how light she felt. She bounced and laughed and played with the aliens, having the time of her life. They explored the moon's mountains and caves and saw creatures they never thought they'd behold. They discovered a hidden underground lake with crystal clear water that shone like diamonds. Lila dipped her toes in the water, and it was freezing cold. As the sun began to set, Lila knew it was time to leave. She didn't want to say goodbye to the moon or her new friends, but she knew she had to go back home. The aliens hugged her tightly and promised to visit her again. They climbed aboard the spaceship and blasted off into space. On the journey back to Earth, Lila couldn't stop smiling. She had just been on the most fantastic voyage of her life. She had explored the moon, made new friends, and had the adventure of a lifetime. She felt lucky and blessed to have had this experience. When she arrived back on Earth, Lila ran to her house and told her parents all about her adventure. They listened in amazement as Lila recounted the spaceship, the aliens, and the flowers on the moon. They couldn't believe what they were hearing. From that day on, Lila became known as the girl who went to the moon. People came from far and wide to hear her story, and she loved every moment of it. She looked up at the sky every night, remembering her journey and the adventures that awaited her in the vast universe. Lila continued to dream and explore, always searching for new adventures and experiences. She knew that the universe was full of wonder and surprise, and she was ready to take on anything that came her way. That's the end of our story today, but don't worry, there are plenty more adventures to come. Join me next time for another exciting story. See you soon.